Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about T.J. Carter, the defensive lineman for the Michigan Panthers, who is heading to the New Orleans Saints in the NFL. So, T.J. Carter, in terms of his USFL stats, he was the first pick in the 24th round as a defensive tackle, despite the fact that he was mainly an end and is signed with the Saints as an end. But as for what he did in the USFL in the 9 games he played, he ended up having just 24 tackles, but he did have 5 tackle for losses and 2.5 sacks, as well as a pass defense. He was a pretty solid guy and helped make that Panthers defense so, formidable for the start of the season. As for the Saints, as signing as a defensive end, the Saints do have a good amount of decent players on their defensive line. It's a bunch of pretty solid guys on there. Their starters include Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport. Then their second stringers, you have Teno Capason and then Peyton Turner. And then you have Josh Black and Carl Granderson as a third string, and Scott Patchman and Taco Charlton as a fourth string. As for the fourth string, Scott Patchman is an undrafted free agent rookie, but Taco Charlton is a guy who is, let's just say, as of now, is a without a doubt draft bust. He was the 28th overall pick in that really great 2017 draft. He did not turn out to be one of the really great players. He only lasted 2 years with Dallas, and when he did play, he wasn't all that great. His best year was his 10-game stint in Miami in 2019, where he had 5 sacks and 21 total tackles. But aside from that, he's never had more than 3 sacks in a season. And in fact, the last 2 years combined in the 18 games he's played, he's combined for 2.5 sacks and just 25 total tackles with 1 TFL. So he definitely is not that great as of now. But then you get to the third strings. Josh Black is an undrafted free agent rookie, and Carl Granderson, he's heading to his 4th year in terms of a player. He mainly played the most pretty much the last couple of years. His rookie he didn't play that much. But the last 2 years, he's shown he can be a legitimately good, rotational guy. He had 5 sacks in 2020 and 3 sacks last year. He's a decent guy to have, coming around. He has, 17 QB hits in the last 2 years is pretty good. Then as for their backups, Teno, was a second-round pick in that great 2017 draft, and despite being a second-round pick, he was probably better than Taco Charlton so far, because he's had 2 years with 4 sacks, one of which in 2019 with Kansas City, and one of which last year. He actually lasted all 4 years with Kansas City. He started 15 games for KC, his second to last year there, though he didn't end up getting that many actual, sacks. He has gotten a few QB hits and a few TFLs every year. He's mainly a rotational guy. He isn't best as a starter, he's best as, an in-depth guy. Then Peyton Turner was a first-round pick last year, but he only was able to play in 5 games due to injuries. In the 5 games he did play, he didn't show a ton. He only had 1 sack and 12 tackles, but his 3 TFLs and 3 QB hits was a really nice thing. So kind of mixed results there. As for their starters, you have the guy that is really good, but not nearly as historically good as the other guy, with the not as good guy being the 14th overall pick in 2018, Marcus Davenport. He's been with the team for 4 years and is heading into his 5th year. He's been a very solid, consistent guy. He had 4.5 sacks, then 6 sacks. Then he did have a down year in 2020 where he only had 1.5 sacks, but last year he had 9. He's been a very, very, very solid defensive end. 9 sacks last year in only 11 games. If he was able to play a full year, he could have cracked maybe like 13 and definitely would have hit double digits. Great player. He is consistently, solid. He had 9 TFLs, 16 QB hits, and he's actually done that twice. Great player. And then Cam Jordan. Probably a Hall of Famer. The guy's he went from being a very solid defensive end to the start of his career, a Pro Bowler, to currently being a 5 straight Pro Bowl type player. He's been a first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro. He's just really, really solid. He's had double-digit sacks in multiple years. He's had it in 6 years. He had 12.5, 10, 13, 12, 15.5, and 12.5. Very solid player. Except the fact that he did have 12.5 last year definitely shows that he can be great. As if both him and Davenport are fully healthy, which Cam Jordan has literally not played in 2 games in his career, or at least started. He literally did not start 1 game his rookie year, and last year he played in 16 out of, the 17 games. So, consistency, he's always healthy. And if he gets a full year with Marcus Davenport, because in fact you have 2 ends who can both provide pressure, it helps both of them elevate their game. He could definitely go back to being an all-pro type player. Very solid. So, As for Carter, I think really third string is his ceiling. I don't think he'll become a second stringer. I think Tano and Peyton Turner have both showed enough and have too much potential for Carter to really jump them, barring injuries. But I think he could become a third stringer, overtake Josh Black, Scott Patchin, and Taco Charlton. So we'll see. This has been ZomFox. If you enjoy this content, when we notified as soon as I upload any videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.